has changed banking forever. And if you don't know about these changes, this could be detrimental to your credit scores. Now, one of the major changes that the banks made will affect over 17 million people and can potentially get them denied for credit and loans. And the second major change that the banks have made quietly could get your accounts shut down, including your credit card accounts. So we're going to jump into the first major change you need to know about. The Department of Justice and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau announced today that they have withdrawn a joint statement regarding the implication of a creditor's consideration of an individual immigration status under the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. On October 12, 2023, the agencies published a joint statement cautioning that the creditor policies related to an applicant's immigration or citizen status could, in certain circumstances, run afoul of the ECOAs and Regulation B prohibiting discrimination on the bias of protected classes, including race and national origin. The agencies withdrew the statement to avoid any conflict with express language of the ECOA and its implementing Regulation B. ECOA and Regulation B retrospectively permit creditors to consider pertainment elements of credit worthiness and information necessary to protect the creditor's right and remedies, including a borrower's immigration or citizen status. Agencies also believe withdrawal is appropriate to avoid any confusion that lenders may legitimately consider immigration status under several circumstances, including when necessarily to avoid financial risk to comply with other laws. In addition, withdrawal is appropriate to address any misexpress that the joint statement interprets 42 U.S.C. 1981 to confer any liability under the status that has not already been recognized by courts. Finally, the agencies believe withdrawal is appropriate to avoid any unnecessary burdens from new or increased compliance efforts. Now, this change can really have a major effect on over 17 million people who's here legally in the United States through a green card or even a visa, because thus the combined numbers of the research of those that are in a legal status. And now banks can consider that for your credit applications of giving you loans and approvals. Now, with that change, that may lead to even these people that have credit card accounts and loans to possibly be called in, because now with the environment in the United States of the real focus on deportations, banks may consider it risky if a person, even of a legal status of being here, get an actual criminal record. They may be deported, even though they were legal prior to. And how could they collect on that loan or credit card account? So if that person is deported, the bank can see that as a possible risk where they can't get the money back on that loan or that credit card and recoup. So now this can be looked at as a potential reason for a bank to deny people like that mortgages, loans, even car loans. So this can get certain people denied for credit, which can have a negative impact on their everyday life. And even worse, if they shut down accounts, it can really taint their credit scores. Now, the second major change is the tracking of cash transactions over $200. Now, this is going to be another major change tied into immigration, because after the federal government has been really focused on fraud in the case of the Feeding Our Children Foundation, which is the case out of Minnesota. Now, the main person over that was an American citizen, but on the flip side, the majority of the people in that case was of Somali descent. And what's believed that a lot of those payments were sent overseas and supported a terrorist group. So now a lot of payments are being tracked in the United States, especially by banks. Even under the Biden administration with his DOJ, there was a major case with TD Banks, with the drug cartels and Chinese gangs. And with this, they were doing money laundering, and TD Bank didn't take action. And the Biden DOJ even gave them a huge record fine that now have many banks very skittish because they don't want this kind of penalty. So any movement of cash going in your bank, coming out of your bank account, or even being wired can be flagged for suspicious activity and money laundering, including your credit cards. And so many people are seeing their credit card accounts shut down, their bank accounts frozen. That even happened to me, just for simply depositing money in your bank accounts because of these flags. Now, if that happened with your credit cards, this can devastate your credit score. Now, with my elite credit system, users like Sean have gotten great results. He went from a 612 credit score all his citizenship in the United States. It can lead to denials for credit. And as you apply for accounts that create hard inquiries, and it can decrease your credit score. And you need credit in order to get housing, in order to even get a car or transportation, and in some cases, employment. So this can be financially a hardship to you and your family. So you want to know about these rules and you want to make adjustments accordingly. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comments section. For more detailed questions from me, you can go to my website.
Yeah, she's great. And I'll definitely make sure to link her information. But wow. Yeah, so a lot of people here that could have the potential to be deported, it's cracking down financially. Then, Mike, a bigger question is, I wonder if ICE is going to actually use some of that information because, yeah, can they get that information from banks? I don't know. I don't know how private it is. I'm just saying. Just saying. But here's my thing. How are people from foreign countries even coming here getting loans with our banks? You know what I mean? Like, you're not even a stable citizen here. Like, how are you even doing this in the first place? Oh, yeah, that ITIN number that works very similar to a social security number. Yeah. And they were just giving those things out like candy, right? You get one, you get one, you get one, going back to Oprah, you get a car, you get a car. Yeah. Just devastating our country. Just devastating us. My goodness. Now, the next bit of news I wanted to get into, these are some food recalls. And this happened, I guess, about a week ago or so. And I heard about it yesterday and I was like, yeah, definitely need to cover that on my show. And April Showers, thank you so much for joining us this morning and reposting the stream. Appreciate you. And Spud McKenzie says, some women. I know, right? And Bloodpox says, he makes me hate immigrants and politics. I'm sure you're talking about Representative Khanna. Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting. And it's really sad. So maybe we don't have anything to worry about, but let's check out this other video and make sure that it is definitely isolated to those particular areas.
Nearly 2,000 popular items have been recalled after federal health officials found signs of rodent and bird contamination at a U.S. warehouse. According to the FDA, inspectors found rodent droppings, rodent urine, and bird waste in areas where food, medical items, cosmetics, and pet products were stored. But in some cases, the risk could be far more serious. The scale of the recall is huge. The products were sold at over 50 retail locations across Minnesota, Indiana, and North Dakota. And some of the most recognizable brands in American kitchens are on the list. Food items include Nutella, Cheerios, Rice Krispies, Special K, Lucky Charms, Jif peanut butter, Pringles, Skittles, Snickers, Twix, Haribo gummy bears and Tuckers. Popular drinks like Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Gatorade, Smart Water, Arizona iced tea and Fiji water were also affected. But the recall does not stop at food. Several medical products have also been flagged. These include Tylenol, Advil, Excedrin, Benadryl, Dayquil, Hall's vitamin C drops and Mentos vitamin gum. Even personal care items like deodorants, pregnancy tests and pet food have been part of the recall caused by possible rat transmission. For now, the FDA says it's continuing to monitor the situation. No major outbreaks have yet been reported. But the warnings are clear. If any of these products are sitting in your home, for now, the safest place for them, according to the FDA, is not on your shelf, but in your bin.
Yeah. Ew. Ugh. That's just nasty. It's gross. It's like, what? Why? Ugh. You know, we are a first world country. I would think we could do better. But these things, and I don't want to say they happen all the time, but I think they had to say something about it because of the amount of products that it affected, right? Because there's always going to be some type of contamination, but it's one of those things. How much contamination isn't overburdensome, right? How much contamination can people kind of deal with? And I'm actually trying to find the link right now as we speak, and I'll have to probably do a little bit more research because I always want to try to give you guys like, okay, those were the articles done by the let me get rid of this. It's messing up my feed. Those are the articles done by those two different anchors on TV, but I want you to have the actual links to the FDA that are actually talking about these foods, because here's what you don't want to find. Let's say we're in July, August, we're all sitting around, we're chilling. It's summer. They'll be like, yeah, remember those recalls that we talked about earlier? Yeah, actually, they affected half the country, huh? You know what I mean? Like, this is something we got to stay on top of, because for it to just affect 3 states, that's weird. I'm like, just those 3? Are you sure about that? That many products? And it's just those 3? I'm questioning that. I know that the FDA needs to do better, but I'm questioning that, because we already know we have contaminants in our food already. But the rat droppings and all this other stuff, that's just disgusting. That just makes me like, ugh. We need to do better. We need to do better for our people. But thank you guys for joining me here. And Blood Pox says we used to want them to do good. Yeah, our politicians. And Beyond Skeptical says even the homeless knows they need an ID to buy smokes and booze. Come on, right? Somebody living on the street, they have some form of ID, because even when they have to get assistance at the homeless shelters, they have to have some form of ID, right? And some of them actually use the shelter's address so that they have an address. And this was something that came up, I want to say it was either the 2016 or 2018 election. It was before 2020, where they had discovered that mass amounts of homeless people that had IDs registered to a homeless facility, and that's how they were able to vote.